Can everyone hear me? Just making sure this thing's working. All right, good.
Can you all hear me now? I just want to double check and see if it's
Yes.
working. Oh, excellent. Nice to meet you all. I'm happy to be part of your group and I look forward to being more engaged.
Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, so now we have 40 minutes. Just
Good incentive to get us
Yep.
through this.
Was Gary saying something about the he wasn't including his staffing levels? That
No. It wasn't included in the data that was in the report because that was old data. And I've agreed that we would provide it moving forward as part of the proceedings, just like Diane was speaking about. We're not against providing it. I just we're standing by what Diane said about the form is the form. That is what we're required to provide, but I have no problem moving forward providing that data. I also believe that, provided in the wrong format, the context can be skewed on that data. So we need to come to some agreement on definitions.
Right. So we already agreed that, but we have to come up with uniform definitions, and that will work out. Okay. I'm not insisting on it. Just some reports. I suggest try and keep us there. And obviously it's one of the recommendations that this be a mandate, but we'll appreciate if we can work it out. Thanks.
Oh, I had another question about the staffing and everything. Are the companies keeping track of how many candidates you're interviewing and taking applications? Is that something that you're internally tracking?
We always do.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of curious about that because there's been made mention of not having enough candidates that would be qualified or don't meet your background checks and all that. And I'm just curious about the amount of people you're getting applying versus, onboarding and all that. I mean, I don't know if that's too far into the weeds, but I'm just curious how that process is going.
David, we're still talking about the report, so we can
All right, fine.
table that till later. Okay, so do we anybody? Oh, Michelle's asking if we can email the reporting form out so instead of showing it on screen. Actually would be really good idea because it would be hard to read on the screen. It's a very detailed report. Chandra, would you be able to send that out? Okay, thank you so much. Okay. All right. And are there any other changes or amendments to the form, Sheldon?
I'm sorry, I had a question. It does not change the content of the report at all, but I had a question about the report for Jonathan. We all agree, and it says in the report that nobody's messing with anybody's comments. All comments are exactly as they write them. But I had a question about one of yours, and that is on the one about prior authorization, which is number 4, and this is on page 41 of the report. You say ADS cannot support limiting prior authorization of prescription requirements for repairs of CRT equipment at this time. We defer to DSS, our sister agency administering the Medicaid program, on whether any change to this process would be appropriate. But the recommendation is not about Medicaid because we're done with Medicaid. We did that. It's resolved. The recommendation was about private insurance. And actually, we took care of it in private insurance as well. It's only for, like state employees and stuff like that. So I just didn't understand it. I was just asking for, I'm not asking you to change it, but I didn't understand it.
I would have to circle back with our legislative person, Sheldon, and get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other changes or additions? Okay, seeing none, I think that we should probably look at the reporting form before we vote on the report. I guess that is, I mean,
Michelle posted, instead of showing the form, email it out.
right, yeah. I think Chandra's getting that. She's having computer issues. Of course, this is quite the day.
Can I share it on the screen?
Yeah,
Do I have the ability to
um,
share?
yeah, at least share it on the screen until, and then Chandra's working on trying to get this out.
Is everybody able to see it on the screen with
It-
me?
Yeah, it's just
Yes.
very
Okay.
difficult to read, but yeah.
So,
Can you blow it up a little bit, maybe?
hold on,
more
hold on.
readable.
How's
Yeah.
that? Okay. So this top part on here, basically just takes the bill language. It puts it down here. This section is just for us to put our names in and reporting time. So like this would be for this report, July 1st through December 31st. Reporting period month if we use this form moving forward. And then list the type of insurance providers. Like we put in this right now, we're doing all of ours, not just the Medicaids. So depending on what the clarification comes up, this could be manipulated or changed. But right now we're providing everything. What we've been doing each month with you guys. This one, Sheldon, this is where I need clarification because this is a little confusing. We're required to report within 1 business day a callback, which is fine. You guys asked for calendar days, the reports for business days. You know, we could put whatever down there, that's fine. And then right here is percentage of those, like I had 1,300 some orders. I missed a total of 60 of those 1,300 some orders that didn't get called back within that 1 business day. So I put percentage compliance. I'm assuming it's percentage met, or is it not met? Because this was a little confusing how he put this on the form and I couldn't change it. I'm assuming percentage of total met compliance, meaning like if I have 99% met within that 1 day, I would put that. And then percentage not met in this column. This was a little confusing how he put this out. So this needs to be clarified. I'm assuming percentage of total met.
That's my understanding.
All right. This needs to be moved. Conduct repair assessment. There is no timelines up above written for timelines on this. Per the bill, I can tell you how fast we do the repairs or the evals. This should be dropped down to here. This should be filled in if we want the business days, how many business days took us to get the eval done. But this does not, we're not going to have in our data points, nobody's going to have how many days it was for the home. We have percentage where it's at. So this should be dropped and this should be blocked out. Does that make sense? Because what you're looking for is percentage of avails in the home or the facility, percentage that were done remote assess, or those done in the branch per the policy above. You're not going to have this. So it's a little confusing. I couldn't manipulate the form. So this should be dropped down, this, and then blacked out and just put the percentages where they were at per the requirements of what we've been reporting.
So this was a function of the fact that the industry was actually going above and beyond here and was of the belief that there was this 3-day,
Right.
assessment requirements that's not in the law. So I think what Jonathan Sigworth was saying is okay, that there is no such requirement, but can you nevertheless report how long it's taking to do those assessments?
We can, but it's not going to be like this lined up how he has it. What it should be done is, if you want it, it's just one single line, drop this down, and then we just put the percentages of where those evaluations were done at.
But that would that tell us the how long it's taking
I'm
minimum,
saying we have
maximum?
2 lines. One line here, the average time it takes to do evaluations, right? Drop this down, block this out. We're not going to put average time to do in-home I mean, it's going to be a summary. You
Yeah.
understand what I'm saying?
Oh, so it's going to be okay. So it's going to be average, minimum, maximum for doing the assessments,
All the
regardless
evaluations,
of
right?
place.
And then I can
regardless of-
tell you percentage of those that was done in the home. So this needs to be like
Okay.
blacked out or a line dropped down. And I couldn't manipulate the form. I was hoping to have it for you guys today to say, here's what needs to be fixed. But I couldn't do it on the form.
So in other words, you won't be able to break that down in terms of minimum, maximum, and average in each of the 3 locations.
Right,
Yeah,
because
that's-
we don't break it out that way because we don't have the ability. We could do it, but it's more manual manipulation. We put in when the evals, we'll know what the transactional cycle time to do the eval. We're going to know the location because we pick it where it's at. But it's not going. I mean, we could. It's just one more build-in we got to do that.
Okay.
I'm not going to have that like by that. But it doesn't matter at the end of the day. It doesn't matter. You're going to get the average time. It's not a requirement, but we're doing it anyways.
Right. And what I think the drafters of this part of the bill, what they were thinking is that you've got 10 business days. You're going to want to do assessments really quickly because otherwise you're not going to be able to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
So this needs to kind of be fixed, if that makes sense. And like I said, I can't manipulate this form. Or I take it and put it on an Excel file.
Well, in terms of the mechanics of fixing the form, if we agree, I think we can ask Jonathan Sigworth, who was the master of this thing, to do that.
But he put it in the Google Sheets. The fact that nobody on this call can even manipulate it, I don't necessarily want that being done by him. No offense, he's not part
That's
of the
fair.
committee.
That's fair, but I just don't know
And
how
we need
else
to
to
put it
do
in a
it.
format that works. The key is, do we agree to the materials? Then this section is the typical transaction cycle time stuff that we've been reporting in here, and decision from the insurance, how long it takes them for doing that. Order any wheelchair POs no later than 3 business days. Question I have on this, and the one thing I need to get clarified, first PO to last PO, that timeline is not counted against us depending on when it comes in from the manufacturers and stuff like that. This, I want to make sure it's really, really clear to the committee. This means after we do an evaluation and we're able to put at least our first PO or get our first part ordered, whether we get all the quotes back from the manufacturer in a fast time or whatever, that's what this means. Now I want to make sure it's really clear. So valuation gets done within, let's say he did it on Friday. By Monday morning, he better have his first order in for the repair parts. So it gets done in a timely manner and we get all the quotes we need back from the manufacturer. I want to make sure that's what that means and that's very clear to the committee. Because you're asking how soon do we put it in, and then how long did it take for us to get the parts in from the manufacturer? You're asking for us to track that. And then in here, again, this needs to be dropped down. This will just be the total transaction cycle time for the repairs completed. So you see the timelines when it includes all the things above. And then you wanted the percentages where those were done in the home, in the facility, in the branch, or remote. So again, like above here, it needs to be a drop down here to put that in that line. Gary, does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good with that.
Okay. So is there any questions from the committee though on it? Because it needs to make sense for the committee.
Well, when you said the drop, I was confused by what you just said. The last part there.
So just like up here, Sheldon, this should be dropped down. right? You're going to have it blacked out because we're not going to have it exactly transaction cycle time per each one of these broken out because we have it by delivery date, just like we have it by val date, right? So we're going to have the averages across. Then below is just a percentage of those in that timeline. What percentage was in the facility or home? What percentage is in? Kind of like, let me pull up my report really quick, guys. This is going to make sense. Like I just pulled up, no, I just added because I saw what you guys threw in there. Like I have right now my year-end totals. I'm sorry about that. All right. How many of those missed a 10-day window? You know, I went at the year end. How many of those were done in that timeline? And then you have down here too, Sheldon, like here's evaluation locations, right? Val's got done with an average of 2.2 business days, average 4 calendar days, right? Because you asked for both lines. But I don't have it broken out by each one of these location points. So I'm going to have this in that top line, right? Transaction cycle times for those. Now drop down, what percentage of those were done remote eval? What percentage were done in a facility? What percentage were done in a branch? And how many were done in a home? Per the bill, that was one of their requirements. They want to know the percentage of these evals were being done where. Not just a timeline of date, but where. So what I'm going to say is you have that one line on the form here. Let me go back to the form. Sorry. So I would have this drop down, put those average calendar times up. All right. And then here, you just drop down, say, blank this out. This doesn't make sense for these because that's what's going to be percentage. I want a percentage of 72% were in a home or the nursing facility. 20% was remote diagnostic. And this many was like 5% was in the branch of the evals of that total numbers.
So this is where I'm confused. I'm looking at the bill, subsection D, 2D, and it says the report shall include, but need not be limited to, minimum, maximum, and average times from the date and time of a repair request for the authorized wheelchair dealer to 1, respond, 2, conduct a repair assessment, but that's broken down. Conduct a repair assessment in the home or other community location remotely or at a repair facility. And similarly, 5, subsection 5, there is receive delivery of any needed repair parts, and then 6 is complete repairs, A, in the home or community, B, remotely or C.
And that's what's down on here.
I'm confused as to whether it's going to be provided the breakdown of minimum, average, and maximum for completing the repair broken down by the 3 locations as this requires.
So this is what it's doing right now on here. So I broke it down. I have 18% of those in that window was done by those percentages where the location was. What you're trying to do on this form, and what I'm trying to tell you is, that means I got to do another manual count of each of those. The timeline is all you care about. How often do we get these done in that timeline, right?
No, that's not all. The other thing.
But you also, wait, hold on, but then I had a percentage of where those locations were done at.
But that doesn't tell you, it could be that you're doing phenomenal compliance in the shop, but not good compliance in the community. And the way you're reporting it here won't show that, won't break it down, which is what the law says. I mean, it is supposed to be broken down. And actually, the truth is, even though there isn't any duty with regard to a certain number of days for doing the assessment, this description does say that also for reporting purposes, not a requirement, but for reporting purposes, you're supposed to break down minimum, maximum, and average for doing the assessment in the 3 locations. It does say it. So what you're saying is it would have to be a manual thing to do it.
Yeah, I mean, everything's been manual right now half the time. Even though we got this pulled in, I'm going to have to go now and count the percentages of the day averages for home.
So, I mean, I think
it's there. I mean, the dates are there. It's just how we pull it in for interpretation into this. So
I'm not the only person here, so I'm just one person, but my view is that the law is really pretty clear about what's supposed to be reported. And I realize it's unfortunate that would have to be manual, but in order to
A lot
comply
of
with
this has been manual, even with our rounding schedules right now, Sheldon, with this timeline, because we're having techs on top of each other in same locations, even though we had the rounding set up a different way because of timelines. So it's this whole thing's been a very heavy admin manual process. All right.
Well, I'll just jump in and say that, just a reminder that our report, we have our extension is Friday, to submit the report. And if everyone is agreeable, if you have an amended report, amended data, either Diane or Gary that you wish to submit, I will take it. The format has been up to your discretion, so I will take it in whatever format that you wish. And I don't think anyone is going to disagree that we would like to have the most recent data in the report. So, but we don't need, for the report, we do not need to figure out this reporting form. If you're able to figure it out and get it to me, then great. If not, then I can take that, what you have there, with the edits, whatever is easiest for us to get this out by Friday.
Yeah, I'll send you my amended, and Gary, you can update yours. I'll CC you, Gary, on what I'm sending over to Maureen.
Because I've been waiting for this form.
Yeah.
And, I'm gonna have to rework things. Probably gonna be by Thursday I can get mine out because I have to go back and manually pull some of this stuff. But, I can have it in time for you all to deliver your report on Friday. That's no problem. But yeah, I'm gonna rework our data, and I'll have December numbers in it. So.
Okay, great, thank you.
Diane, are you doing yours in Word format, just like you have
Yeah,
it
the
there?
one I just had on the screen. I just took my November and updated the December information and put the year end.
All right.
That would be preferable. I did have some issues getting the PowerPoint format over to the Word document. So if you're able to keep it in Word, that would be great.
Yep, I'm gonna leave it the same.
I'll try and do Word. I mean, could Excel work for you, or is that? Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
I just Word, things don't break out nicely on there,
Yes,
so that's just my
absolutely.
personal. All right. It'll be broken down the same way Diane does, but I'll do mine in an Excel.
Thank you. Okay, do we have any further comments on the reporting form? Okay, and so if I understand correctly, Sheldon, you're gonna go
The form,
back to,
I want the form done by our committee or updated from Chandra or someone, so it could be a readable, imprinted format.
okay. Right. So that sounds like it won't, that won't be done. We have until our next meeting in February to figure that out. Okay. Um, and thank you both for your work on this form, because I think it will be really good once we have it tweaked in the way that we need it. So this will be great moving forward for next year. Okay, so moving back, if we do not have anything else, we'll move back to the actual voting on the final report with the edit that was suggested, and also with the understanding that we are going to have revised information from New Motion and National Seating. I don't know if OHA has anything updated. I just used the most recent information that we had from OHA.
We don't at this time. I believe we have the same number of cases. We
Yeah.
might have one more, if anything. I'm still getting up to speed, so
Right.
so I believe I spoke with Adam yesterday just to make sure I was on the same page, and that one edit was the only one that I sent in from him and then from the feedback I received. But as we go along, at this time, I don't have anything to add. Thank you, though.
Great. All right. Thank you. So and Chandra, is this a voice vote? Yep. Okay. So all in favor of accepting this report in its final format? Do we have a motion first?
This is Farah. I'll
Yep.
make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Farah. And second?
Michelle seconding me.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to move down to see her. Okay, thank you, Michelle. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? And abstentions.
I'm going to abstain until I know that the updated reports are in the final. That's the only reason why I'm abstaining.
All right, so this carries, and we will we'll get these edits in. Once I have the final report, I can copy everyone on it so that you see that your data is in there. All right. Okay, and now we are going to talk, actually, just to make sure that you both Diane and Gary, you don't have any information that you're going to share with us today for the month.
Other than what I just had, I just showed. Like,
Okay.
and that's coming
Yeah.
over for the report. So you're going to have the year-end summary.
Okay. And that would be OHA, and OHA just reported they only had perhaps one extra report. Okay, so talking about the meeting schedule for 2025, because session is starting, we're probably going to be Zoom only for the next couple of months. And there also was a suggestion to change the date of the meeting. And we did not get a doodle pull out, but I'm hoping that we can maybe figure this out here. It really, if we change the dates, it really does fall on either Monday or Wednesday because just because of scheduling with our clerk and with Jonathan. Thursday's really not an option. I don't think anyone wants to meet Fridays. So it's really Monday or Wednesday, or we just keep it today. Keep it as Tuesdays. Does anyone have a comment or preference? Sheldon.
I heard a terrible rumor, truly terrible rumor, that we were going to lose Chandra. And that's quite distressing if that rumor is true. He's done such a phenomenal job.
You killed you stole our thunder, Sheldon. We were going to make that
Right.
announcement here in a minute.
Okay,
And
I'm
by the way,
sorry.
we've only got about 15 minutes here. So
Okay, all right. So, but the point is that if Chandra is in fact leaving, does that mean that the staff person for this person would be, as Chandra was, the clerk for the Human Services Committee? And the reason I ask this is if they are, then you've got the same issue that Tuesdays and Thursdays are the hearing dates for all the human, at least in the past, it's always been Human Services Committee. It always meets Tuesday, or at least has the hearings on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And then there's another day, which Chandra would know which day of the week it is for the meetings of the committee. So I guess, is that what we have to work around?
Yeah, so I can jump in. That's correct. This is my last week here at the legislature. I'll be moving to a state agency and starting a new position there. We do have a new Human Services Committee clerk. Her name is Brianne Clifton. She'll be taking over for me. So yes, Tuesday, Thursdays are usually when the Human Services Committee meets. So probably Monday or Wednesday would be best just from an admin perspective. And that's all, like, we'll work around your schedules, and it's been great working with you all, and I hope our paths cross again soon. Thanks.
Thank you for everything, Chandra. We wish you well. I am looking at the clock. We've got less than 8 minutes here, so let's see if we can vote
Sorry
on.
about the tech troubles. That's probably because of me leaving. They're transitioning everything over to Brianne, so apologize for all the tech troubles today.
No problem.
And Chandra, when the committee meets, not for the hearings, but they have their committee meets, is that either a Tuesday or Thursday as well?
Yep, statutorily, we're a B committee, otherwise known as a Tuesday, Thursday committee. So the Human Services Committee meets on those days.
Okay, great. So it sounds like it has to be Monday or Wednesday.
This is Farah. I do not have a super large preference, but if forced to choose, Mondays I think would be better for me. But I'll make either work.
Well, why don't we take a voice or hand vote here? Who's okay
Would we
with
be,
Mondays?
can I interrupt? Would we keep the same time?
Same time.
window?
Yes, same time.
So-
Correct.
Okay.
Well, the only thing is Mondays, like there's a holiday on the 19th, right? And then there'll be Monday holidays. And then there'll be one later. There are Monday holidays, and I wonder if Wednesday's better. Sorry, Farah.
No, that's a fair point. No, that's a fair point. Why don't we all right, then why don't we do Wednesdays? And we'll do it, again, likely over Zoom for the next handful of months because of non-availability of rooms at the LOB. But we'll look for Wednesdays, and we'll get an email out soon about the February meeting date. And see what works best for everybody. Okay.
Is this going to be, are we talking once a month?
We're going back to once a month. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Are you taking the vote, Jen?
We're done. I think we're doing
Oh.
Wednesdays.
Okay,
Yeah.
Great. all right. Well, I also would like to extend my thanks to Chandra for all you've done and wish you the absolute best in your next role. And I know that you will be great at it. And our next meeting is
TBD.
yeah, TBD.
Okay. TBD. We'll get back with everybody.
Yeah, Sheldon.
I was clapping for
Oh, you're clapping.
Chandra. That's a
I was
clapping
wondering why you're
icon.
here. That looked funny. Okay. Yes.
Thank you, Chandra. You've done a just phenomenal job. You're so grateful.
Okay. I will take a motion to adjourn.
Michelle motioned.
Okay, a second.
Jenny, second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Thank you, everybody. I'll get the final report out to all of you. And thank you again. Have a great month, and we'll see you in February.
It was great meeting y'all. Thank you for